thing in your nightmare, that thing that's holding you back, that thing that's dragging you down, that thing is you. You will not outwork me.
And the whole gig is just a giant hustle. That's all it is. Life is just a hustle. That's all life is. One giant hustle. Boy, this is earlier than I leave the house to go to work on a weekday. This is the reason why a lot of times this stuff is more work to me than my actual work. It's race day. It is 7:25. Well, it's testing day. 7:25 in the morning. Before I do all this, before I can even get out of here this morning, we got to go look at a trailer. So we're gonna run up here and look at a trailer that'll be in its own video. So a trailer popped up last night local, 24 foot long, and it popped up for $3,700. My current trailer is a 20-inch V-nose. The actual rectangle that the car sits in is 18 feet. So did I say inches? Man, it's early. 20 foot if I said 20 inches. Car sits in 18 feet of a square, so jumping up to a 24-foot square is gonna be pretty nice. All right, so we bought the trailer. You're gonna see that in the upcoming video. So we went up to a 24-foot versus this one. The box that we work in is only 18 feet. That the car, that's all the room we have, is 18 feet to 20 or 21 foot. I think 20-foot V-nose is what it's considered. So going up to a 24 is gonna have a lot of advantages, and we will go over that when we start that series on that new trailer. I'm really excited. I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited about being able to go grab this trailer. It was 13 minutes from where I'm at, and I got it for a deal. Need some work, so we're gonna have a whole nother opportunity for y'all to learn how to redo a trailer. This is not a wreck trailer, so this is gonna fit perfect with a lot of you guys that already have trailers that want to fix them up. I'm looking forward to it. So we are going to go home, grab a bite to eat. We've got the gray trailer. We got Percy in the box, and we're gonna go fix a sandwich at the house, see Harper for a few more minutes before we got to hit the road, and then head to the racetrack. All right, so we just got out here to Thunder Valley. Check this out real fast. So this thing's been at the shop this week, and I guess it had a visitor. Look at this. You see the little paw prints? These little things right there. So I know there's a couple rats, mouse, whatever in the shop that we've been dealing with. So I guess it decided that it wanted to run all over the car and check out what it had to offer. Hopefully they didn't ride with us. All right, so I think we kind of left a lot of y'all out of the loop, and we didn't quite do a very good job at explaining to y'all exactly what was going on. So I'm gonna try to fill everybody in. So we've been monitoring the comments, responding back to some people and everything about John driving the car. And I think it's partially our fault that we did not explain that we were here testing for John. So the only reason why I brought this car to Thunder Valley, and the reason why John brought his car to Thunder Valley, was to test for the Union, South Carolina no prep race. That was it. That's the only reason why we were here. Now, me and John had already been talking about this for 2 weeks prior, that we said, well, what if we put my car in the Union, South Carolina no prep race for data, and also, possibly win, even though the odds were pretty low in my head. And that's when John said, actually your car might do pretty good with foot brake in it. The numbers it ran at Fayetteville was actually really good. And then, of course, using a foot brake is easier to control the launch, and it's a pretty good way to control a blower car. So we said, sure, why not? Let's try it. So I actually took off of work Wednesday about 11 a.m. and worked all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and all day Friday until 11 a.m. on this car. I did not work for my business at all. Getting weight in it, you see the videos where we added weight to this car. All of that was done with the intention to take this to Union, South Carolina with a chance at the $25,000 no prep race if everything looked good testing at Thunder Valley. Now, obviously, everything happened really fast, and there was a lot of content, and obviously I'm running about 2 days behind on footage, 1 to 2 days behind on footage. So we just simply dropped the ball and missed updating our viewers on exactly what was going on. I think some people caught on to it and kind of figured out what was going on, but we never officially said it in a video. I think it's the reason why I went and purchased the tires off of John to put on this car for that race, and that's the reason why we added all the weight. So that is the reason why I was not driving this car. A lot of people have really been on me about driving this thing, and I think some people just lose focus that I spent 5 years putting this car together because I enjoyed it. I did a lot of things on this car over and over and over to get it right how I wanted it, because I enjoy building it. So I never settled for anything. I would just cut it up and redo it, and that's what kept pushing the car farther and farther and farther backwards from completion. I took my time building it and really enjoyed it. So for me to rush and just put myself in the driver's seat to quote unquote get seat time is just honestly not a top priority for me at all. And it would have flat out been foolish to sit there and say, well, let's go try our luck at a $25,000 race, which the winner takes home, I think, $18,750, and put me in the seat. I mean, at some point you got to weigh in statistics and numbers and say that the boys you're going up against have a ton of data, a ton of testing. They street race. I mean, the heavy hitters they have a ton of seat time. And seat time, as we all know, is what really, gets you progress. And so to put the odds in our favor, it was smarter for us to take two cars and have the same guy tuning both cars, the same guy reading the data on both cars, and the same guy driving both cars. That's the reason why we have done what we've done, and that's the reason why we were doing this.
All right, so as y'all seen, John made that pass. I'm not in the car to watch the gauges, so I told him I was going to jump in here and modify some stuff. So I have switched my screen, and I'm building him a new dash so that the coolant temp is right here. I told him, Kevin said we don't want it past 190 on a pass. We don't want to be driving it back probably 200 or so. So that way, all he's got in his face right here is just this big number, and this will be the coolant temp. So this will be just for when he's driving a car, because I know he's not paying attention to anything else. Anyways, so we're just going through here. I've already been working on this for a couple minutes. I changed that to coolant to read it, modified it. We're just going through here and deleting all of this other nonsense out of here that he don't need to be on here. So we don't need timing. He doesn't need to see boost, nothing like that. Fuel pressure, we can leave that. Battery, we can leave that. Oil pressure. So we can leave all of them. And we'll actually, let's see here. Let's see if we can move these up here. Yes, so we'll move them up here for him, and then we will customize them. Let's see here, see if we can up the size. So it's at 70 right now, so let's up it to 150. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that's not bad at all. Let's pull it in here. So we'll do fuel pressure over here. We'll click this down here. We'll click move on this one. We'll do oil pressure over here. Customize. Let's up the size also to 150. And that way, I mean, if he wants to look over here at this stuff, he can. But at least in the center will be the most important stuff, the water temperature. So we'll move this battery voltage just because I'm not OCD, I swear. But that way it's just down there. And then I don't think he needs anything else up here. John doesn't really, he goes off of feel. He's been racing for so long. He doesn't really need anything. So let's click save. All right, let's cycle the ignition off, on. When this thing comes back on, now it should read, which it already was. I just tested it a second ago, but we should be reading, yeah, so the water temperature. So he's got the water temperature right here in front of his face. I wish it was labeled. Let me see if I can label it. Customize. No, it's already labeled as engine coolant. It just doesn't show it, I guess. Yeah. And there might be a border. Let's see here, what does border mean? Oh, it's already, I don't know. I'm still new to all this, but cool. So there we go. So we got fuel pressure, oil pressure, and water temp. I guess I could add, oh, well, we can add a label right there. Let's do, let's see, do here. Alright, so we gotta customize that. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Norman's got us some burgers cooking. He's already cooked a bunch of other stuff. Not a ton of people out here. It's hot, that's for sure. John's about to make a second lick in this one. See if he'll do something decent. Tires still on 14, or you want to change them?
That's Randy.
Randy, tires on 14 or change them? 13? You want to just do that up there, John?
Yeah, that's a B. That's fine.
I'll get started while you're... So another thing that we have discussed is just the safety aspect of sending somebody down that is completely new to a car in general, like myself, down a track like this, no prep. So the back of the track no prep stuff is super sketchy, especially what he was testing on that weekend, or this weekend. He actually pulled up out of the glue and we were just testing on straight up just asphalt with no glue, no rubber, nothing. So to send me down it, I mean, just I understand that you get experience off of seat time. Obviously, that's how you get experience. But I think that for the dollar amount that I spend per gallon of fuel and for the dollar amount that I spend on tires, I think it is better spent with me in the driver's seat at tracks such as Galot and stuff where we can focus on me figuring out how to actually drive the car versus having to drive the car and overcome the sketchiness of a no prep track. These drivers like these no prep races because they add so much work. It's not just boring to them anymore of just driving it. John and many people have said that, you know, radial racing and stuff like that they're just kind of, you're locked on rails kind of, and driving it is what I hear from other people, you know, versus the no prep stuff. You're actually having to steer it, fight with it, and actually take some skill to do it. So for somebody new like me to double stack requiring skill versus and on top of needing, you know, to learn, they just don't go that great together. We have plenty of plans that y'all don't even know about to, you know, take this car testing. Hope to get some testing in it possibly this week. We're not sure if it's going to work due to scheduling, but we're trying to get it, you know, me as much seat time and get it to the track as much as we can. But also, you know, I'm just kind of tagging along behind John and Randy. Wherever they're running at or testing, I'm willing to go. If they're not running or testing, then I'm probably going to focus on something else. If you haven't picked up off my channel yet, if you're new to the channel or you don't watch the other videos, I'm extremely busy. I don't have a lot of free time. I don't probably sleep as much as I should to maintain my health. And there's just a lot to balance. After we ran this race, John did these 2 passes. He actually told me, he said, hey, you know, if you want to suit up and go ahead and make a pass, you got the car out here, you know, you can get some seat time and you can do it. And I actually told him, I'm like, man, like, just to be honest with you, I'm extremely tired. I'm extremely exhausted. I'm hot, like it's crap. I have no drive to put that suit on to go out there and waste that fuel and waste them tires when my coach, John, if you want to look at it like that, literally just told me that this car will not work on back of the track, no prep. It needs changes to the front end and the back. You know, we need some different changes to make it work. So if your coach and somebody that you're trusting to teach you tells you that, you know, it's not going to work, why would you go out there and try to learn or get seat time in a situation that the car is literally not going to work on? So you're sitting there trying to, you know, learn how the car feels and you're trying to learn how to drive, but you have other situations out of your control that are just kind of throwing you a curveball, such as the car moving around on no prep and stuff like that. Like, it's just,
I just hope everybody understands it's just flat out, like, just, it's not the time and place for me to be making test passes. Front of the track stuff is going to be really good to learn on. Test and tune nights are going to be really good to learn on. Me and John together, I don't know if we have cracked a dozen passes in this car. So, and that's us together. I think some people don't realize that. Like, I think I have probably 6 or less passes, and together I don't know if we have cracked a dozen passes in this car yet. Like, everything is extremely new, and I think people forget because of the time, how much time has went by, but there's just so much going on between doing Randy's car and then going to the track a couple weekends to help John out record and just help him out, hopefully that he can get some wins, and just working together as a team. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to make to make some progress. There's a really busy schedule with everybody, and it's just, we're trying to make the smartest decisions and to gain knowledge and experience fast as possible. I think a lot of people, I've watched people go to the track, and especially snow prep stuff, and they make pass after pass after pass, trying to figure it out when there's something outside of their control, when they should just load the car up and go home because they need to change something at the house. Like, it's just flat out not going to work. And I'm fortunate enough to have John as a coach, and when your coach makes 2 hits and he's like, hey, you need to put it in the box, it needs changes, you probably should, just listen to him. I mean, that's, on the YouTube side, people are like, well, we want to see you in the car and everything. Yeah, but this wasn't the time and place. So I hope everybody kind of understands a little bit more where we're coming from and what this whole thing was about. And when you see John in the car, the reason why he's in the car is because normally we have discussed something. We're trying to work towards a bigger picture that we have not spoke about yet, on YouTube or over YouTube in general. I hope that really helps y'all out a lot.
All right, well, we are on our way back. So if you've already seen John's video, if you haven't seen John's video yet, you'll see all the details in that video pretty much. And you'll see some of the in-car, or you've seen some of the in-car footage on here. The car is simply just not built to do what we're trying to get it to do. So if you don't fully understand this no prep stuff, a lot of these guys that are going super fast have purpose-built no prep cars that are built literally just for this, and they won't work on other situations. Most cars are not like all-around car. I try to build an all-around car that would do decent, and mine probably would do decent, but it's not going to actually do anything competitive, I guess you could say. So we've got to make some changes. Long story short, the car needs more weight in the rear, but that opens up a whole nother can of worms that we're going to have to tackle. We don't have room in the rear, as you've seen on the last video of the weight we added in the car. We don't have room there. We don't have the floor structure to add that much weight. We don't have any strong points to attach that heavy of weight to. So basically, to sum it all up, we're going to have to cut the whole trunk out of the car, and we need to make a handful of changes that we will go over in the future if we're going to try to run any of this back of the track stuff at all. If we're going to even slightly possibly move in that direction, we have to set the car up to go into that direction. You can't just all of a sudden wake up and say, well, I'm gonna try to back of the track, and the car can't even be set up to do it. Like if you can't even set the car up to do it, then you can't do it. And that's kind of the problem we're running into. The front end does not currently have enough travel, but if we got more weight on the back end, it might band-aid the front end. I know a couple things I can do to the front end, at least one thing to get a little bit more out of it. But long story short, we got to make some changes. So we're not going to Union. We're not going to take the car to Union, South Carolina, no prep race. That's a bummer, because me and John, we're going to do a split, basically, that he probably won't talk about on his channel. If we got into the money with my car, then obviously we would split the money. Him being a driver and the tuner, and me being the car owner, we would make a split, and me and him could have both walked away with a good amount. But of course, John's car is light years ahead of my car on no prep, so we would hope to win with his car. But you never know what happens with these type of things, so it's nice to have two cars on the same team in the same event. But the car Percy is just simply not there
yet. So I'll be going to Union, South Carolina to help John try to get his car into the winner's circle, or try to get into the money, obviously, but we will not be taking Percy. Make sure you are subscribed though and you stick around, because we are gonna make changes. We're gonna improve some stuff. We got a lot to do on the car still. Moving forward, we're trying to pay our debt down. We're down pretty decent, but we got a ways to go before we stack more heavy stuff on top of it. So it's not as simple as just going and doing stuff, because you got to think of the money side of things. So it takes steps. This was a good test session to see where the car was at and to see if there was any chance of the backside. Now we could easily front side no prep. We're gonna do a lot of testing and tuning still. I'm gonna chase seat time still, so we're gonna keep taking the car to track, and I'm gonna just keep on progressing with seat time and getting to know the car as we continue to build the car to go the direction that we more than likely want the car to go. So that's gonna be a wrap for this video. I will catch you on the next one. Do me a favor, smash that like button, and I will see y'all later. Thanks, y'all.